practicing against Terran for this group. I think Rail might come in here with a couple of standard builds, and he's more concerned about his PvP and his PvZ.
Yeah, or maybe even just says, you know, flip the switch in the extreme other direction, watches Parting stream for a couple minutes, says, oh, you know what, this proxy second gate looks pretty good, and just goes for something crazy like that, and just says, I'm going to invest as little of myself into this, not time and effort, but like just my spirit. Like, I don't want to be fully invested emotionally in this because I don't want to get invested in a loss. Now, he's a competitive player. Chances that that's the case, very unlikely. But is that kind of thought crossing his mind? There is a pretty damn good chance, I would say, that at least something akin to that has crossed his mind, because HeRoMaRinE is looking really, really strong right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Rail just tries to do something to just straight up kill HeRoMaRinE before the game even really gets going. We're seeing a very normal opening here. We didn't really introduce the players, but we have been saying their names over and over again.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that right now. Yeah. What's... yeah, here we go. Spawning down in the bottom right. It's 3D Clans Rail. Yep. Totally standard timing. Don't look at the timer. This is proper. We're doing this right at the beginning.
Absolutely correct. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner, representing Mouse Sports, it is HeRoMaRinE.
And I want to point out that he's probably hacking right now because, you know, based on the in-game timer, which is about 6 or 7 seconds, I don't know how he has this orbital command. It just doesn't make any sense. It couldn't have been that we missed this.
He's just so efficient. That's that German efficiency we talk about.
Yeah, see, it's very simple. You just start your orbital command when the game starts, and it puts you in a very good economic position. Now, I've done the math, and, you know, it does cut into your SCV production, and it is very much impossible, but with the power of Angela Merkel and the German economy, I'm able to make it happen. So, you're welcome back at home.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Oh,
keeping it real on the B stream.
Yes, definitely very real. Rail's going for a Stargate. How do you feel about this?
Oh, I love Stargate play so much. It is so fun for me. For a long time, I was like, oh man, I don't really get the hype, you know, like Phoenixes, are they really that good? And then, you know, I started really paying attention to it, getting my studying going, and I'm like, hold on. Phoenixes can do a lot. Like, you go for a Phoenix first, boom, that's a sentry you don't have to build. That's a free scout. You just send it to the opponent's base. You get an Oracle, you revelate the army. Like, there's just a lot of power with this. And I'm a big fan. And he's even going to see a Hellion moving on out. I don't know if he saw those Marines. I don't think so. This actually might get a little bit done. There's no shield battery, and there was no third unit. Oh, no, there was a third unit. Where's the Adept? Okay, it's come down right now. He's going to lose one of those immediately.
Yeah, I think all these Adepts are in a little bit of trouble. Looks like the Marines want to focus the Adepts instead of the Probes, because then they can stutter step against the Probes for a while. The Probes will get the Citizen's Arrest, though. This is a cheeky little move out. Not a lot of investment for HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, even just killing the Adepts is worth it, I would say, because now these Adepts can't get aggressive on his side of the map. And he even got a probe and a very long probe pull. Like, that was a lot of time that Rail wasn't mining. You know, that was effectively as if he'd gotten a Widowmine drop or something, you know? Like, that was like, yeah, that was pretty good.
That's true. That is very true. And it does take advantage of the Phoenix opener a little bit, right? That hit, there was one Phoenix out. What's the sound of one Phoenix lifting? It's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. Kind of a useless endeavor there. It wasn't even in position to do so. I also am a big fan of Phoenix openers against Terran. But they do, I feel like they come with some strong downsides. And I think the style HeRoMaRinE plays can be very good against them. Just those, again, those big 2-base, 3-base pushes where it feels like you've got way more units than you have any right to have. Pushing forward, I think Phoenix really struggle with that style. A lot of times the Colossi or Charge Lots aren't quite out yet that need to be there to combat those pushes.
Yeah, and I would say one of the biggest strengths of a Phoenix style is when you kind of get to control the narrative a little bit. You know, you're the one getting aggressive. You're the one dictating where stuff happens. And HeRoMaRinE, with that early 5 Marine Hellion push, not only did it get the scout on the Phoenixes, which he was going to see anyways, but it's still valuable to see that. It also kind of... It dictated the pace. It said, Rail, you're not the one who gets to be aggressive. I'm the one who is aggressive. And speaking of aggression, we're now going to be seeing... hold on.
Maybe a move out?
Maybe a move out? I would like it if this was just a pressure, because I think the Observer's seen it, and I'm pretty sure Rail's actually prepared to deal with it. There's an Immortal out. Yeah, this is not the kind of thing you want to commit with. And HeRoMaRinE is going to back out. So I think there was something very cool he did right there, where he wanted to make sure that an Observer saw that. He wanted to make absolutely sure an Observer saw that, and then backed away. And that's why he went to the right and then the left. That's a very, like, Giga Brain read on this, but that's the only thing I can think of as to why he stayed around, because there was no way he was going to commit with that. HeRoMaRinE is way too smart to commit with that attack, having gone for a fast third command center, knowing that Rail is probably going to be continuing to build Phoenixes. Do you think I'm reaching, or do you think there's something to that?
I think it's a good point. I don't know if he expected there to be an Observer there. Maybe he expected the Phoenixes to spot it, but he probably did. Maybe he did notice the Observer. He wanted to be seen out on the map, and maybe he was hoping he could catch a Phoenix. He had 2 Vikings, a Cyclone, and a bunch of Marines there. It's possible the Phoenix tried to dive on that and regret it later. I can't believe Rail's going for a counter right now. Charge is not finished. He is just pushing into this. There's no scenario where that ever works. He gets 6 SCV kills. I guess that's the best thing.
That was an ugly attack. That went about as well as it could have, and it went pretty poorly.
I wasn't a fan of that one. The 6 SCVs, that's about it. No charge on the Zealots. I don't think he necessarily realized there were 2 tanks on the high ground, and just a lot of bio. And now HeRoMaRiNE's like, oh, okay, I just took a great trade. Now I'm gonna move across the map. Stim is done. So these charge lots are gonna get just demolished, and Immortals are really good, but against Stim bio units, they don't last very long.
No, not so much. By the way, Rail took an insanely fast 4th Nexus. He, even with this push, he didn't build a shield battery at the natural or the 3rd. Like, even though he saw those units coming, he was very confident in his army, and to be fair, he was good about that. But I just want to point out how greedy Rail has been so far. And HeRoMaRinE, well, he's about to punish that real hard.
Yeah, there's not a lot of splash damage here. The Storm is about to finish, but I think there's just 1 High Templar on the map. It does not have enough energy for Storm. So the 3rd base is getting evacuated. They're morphing into an Archon, and Archon's here. It just doesn't feel like that's going to last very long. The 4 Immortals feel so strong until all of a sudden it doesn't. And that's just going to be it. GG. HeRoMaRiNE wins with the counterattack.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to, you know, be like the caster man who's like, oh, my guy misspoke. You actually misspoke. It was actually evaporated. His 3rd base was evaporated.
I see.
That went down so quickly. Cool builds from Rail, but it felt very kind of unsafe. And I think if HeRoMaRiNE had continued to push in, I think that probably goes really, really well for Rail with that first push. You know, that was like 2 tanks, no Stim, a few Marines, a Cyclone, a Viking. I think Rail is really looking for HeRoMaRiNE to push with that. And then he goes in with this weird counterattack, loses 2 Phoenixes. Yeah, he picks off 6 SCVs, but it wasn't worth it. Like, he lost a lot more in terms of material.
Well, and like you said, he was really greedy behind that. So I think if he had done what HeRoMaRiNE did and just pressure, just go out, make his units visible, and then just pulls back with that 4th base, with Storm on the way, and with more Immortals coming out, I think he's actually okay there. I just don't like that he committed in, because all of a sudden HeRoMaRiNE was like, oh, that's your army. Actually, I think I can walk across the map now. I think I just took a good enough trade to do that. But I don't think HeRoMaRiNE goes across the map quite as soon if that fight doesn't happen at his 3rd.
No, I 100% agree with you, actually. I think that there's no way that he does. I think he just chills. I think he just chills. Maybe, you know, puts on some pressure, but it's it's not as big of a commitment. Maybe he's looking to deny a fourth instead of kill a third.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But as it was, he didn't even get himself into the greatest position, didn't abuse the high ground, didn't get his tanks really well set up. He just pushed, and Rail fell over because there
just wasn't enough units, and the lack of splash damage, the lack of... If he had, 2 warp and rounds of Zealots and a few Storms on the backside, I think Rail's fine there. I think if he lands a couple of Storms, the Zealots swarm in on the tanks, I think he holds that. 2 minutes later, that push doesn't work nearly as well. But because HeRoMaRinE was able to push out early, he is able to take game number 1 and send us to Romanticide for game 2. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going right into it this time. Representing the 3D clan, it is Rail.
perfect. And his opponent spawning up into top left, representing the Germans and Terran players everywhere. It is Mousesports HeRoMaRinE and Big Gabe.
Yeah, and he is the largest Gabe in the whole world, in the whole universe as far as I'm aware. But of course, we do not know too much about the universe, but he has that German efficiency, so he's going to try to end this series very quickly here with the 2 racks.
Oh,
Marine
no. Oh, it's a Nexus. We never see this. What are the odds that these builds lined up against one another?
Oh, there's just no way. I haven't seen a Nexus first against Terran. I feel like it's been years. I don't know. I can't even think of a time where I saw this.
God.
And 2 racks against Protoss? How often do you see this?
These are both builds that you could characterize as like sub 5% play builds. Like I would even say sub 1% on the Nexus.
Yeah,
first.
I was gonna say like 1 in 200 builds.
The odds, like if we say that 2 racks is like a 1 in, or maybe let's say 1 in 50 build, and we call the Nexus first a 1 in like, what do you think, 400 build, 200 builds?
Yeah, I would say so.
The odds of these 2 builds running into each other is astronomical. It is actually insane. And, well, we're going to see a bunker start up.
Like, what does Rail do here?
He's pulling probes, but that's a bad time.
Yeah,
he does have a Zealot on the way, which is one good thing for him.
This is like 2 racks against Zerg, except there's no Lings coming out, and there's no Spine Crawler going down, so... Or Queens.
Yeah, this is as if the Zerg went 3 hatch before pool.
Yeah, that's what this is like.
Can he get the block? There is a Zealot here. Oh, but they're slippery as hell. And, well, this game's over. There's no way. Yep. GG.